Welcome to the It Factor. We're Jimmy and I, exploring a new blog post by Mr. Len Kaplan, CEO of CDML, a managed service provider in Queens, NY, offering network management, voice over IP, unified communications as a service, cybersecurity, compliance, infrastructure as a service, cloud solutions, and Microsoft 365 and Azure solutions.
If you're a small business owner or manage IT for a growing organization, this episode is for you.
It's great to be back. And, looking at our source material today, we are tackling a subject that I think every single professional has, well, a complicated relationship with.
The business phone.
Oh, absolutely. It's the lifeline, but it can also be the source of so much friction. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a blog post titled The Next Evolution of Business Phones, How AI is Enhancing Cloud VoIP Systems. Now, when I see evolution and phones in the same sentence, my mind immediately goes to hardware. Going from a rotary to a push-button phone, or from that copper wire in the wall to the internet.
Right. And that was really the first evolution. We spent, the last decade moving everyone from the old PSTN, the public switch telephone network, over to VoIP.
Voice over IP.
Exactly. And that whole shift was about transport. It was about taking your voice, turning it into data, and sending it over the internet. It gave us flexibility, it cut costs. But Len Kaplan's whole argument here is that we are staring down the barrel of a second evolution.
And this one isn't about how the voice travels.
No, it's about who, or I guess what, is on the other end of the line.
Okay.
We're moving from just connectivity to actual intelligence. The premise here is that for the last 10 years, your business phone has basically been a dumb terminal. It rings, you answer.
And if you don't, it goes to voicemail. It's totally passive.
Exactly. The shift we're seeing now is the phone becoming an active, intelligent participant in your business workflow.
That's a pretty big claim, active participant, because usually when businesses hear the word upgrade, they hear expense.
They hear hassle, they hear rip and replace.
Precisely. If you're a small business owner, maybe you run a law firm or a dental practice, and you just spent, say, 10 grand on desk phones 3 years ago. The very last thing you want to hear is that you need to throw them all in a dumpster to get this new AI magic.
And that is probably the most crucial insight from this article. That whole rip and replace idea is just a myth. Kaplan makes a very technical but a very important point here.
Which is?
Modern AI voice services are designed to layer directly on top of your existing SIP-based VoIP systems.
Okay, let's pause there. We need to unpack SIP. We hear that acronym a lot in IT, but what does it actually mean for a business owner?
Sure. So SIP stands for Session Initiation Protocol. Think of it as the universal handshake of the internet.
The handshake.
Yeah. When you make a VoIP call, SIP is the language that sets up the call, manages it, and then ends it. It's the standard. And because pretty much all modern phone systems speak SIP, these new AI tools are built to speak it too.
So, to use an analogy, it's like I don't need to buy a whole new car just to
That's a perfect way to visualize it.
use a new navigation app. I just plug my phone into the dashboard I already have.
That's it, exactly. Your car, the PBX, the desk phones, the wiring, it all stays right where it is. You're just integrating a new intelligence layer.
Okay.
And the article actually outlines 4 specific ways this integration happens. They range from, the super simple to the deeply integrated.
Walk us through those.
Yeah.
Because I think people assume it's an all or nothing kind of switch.
Not at all. The first method is direct SIP integration. This is where the AI lives right inside your PBX, your private branch exchange. It's totally seamless.
Okay, that sounds pretty involved, though.
It can be. But if you don't want to touch your core system, the second method is just call forwarding. You literally just set your phone lines to forward to an AI receptionist number if you don't pick up after, say, 3 rings.
Wow. That sounds, incredibly low risk.
It is. We're talking a 5-minute setup.
Yeah.
The third method involves API connections. This is more for the power users. This is where your phone system is talking directly to your CRM or your ticketing software via code, just passing data back and forth.
I see.
And then finally, there's the hybrid routing model. In this setup, the AI screens the call, first figures out who you are, what you want, and then it decides which human on your team actually needs to take the call.
So you're enhancing an asset that's already depreciating. You keep the hardware, but the capability just skyrockets.
Exactly. You stop missing revenue opportunities without having to increase your capital spending.
Let's talk about those revenue opportunities.
Yeah.
Because AI is such a buzzword, right? It's easy to say my phone is smart, But what does that practically look like on a Tuesday morning when the phones are just ringing off the hook? Is it just a glorified voicemail system?
Oh, it's miles beyond voicemail, not even in the same league. I mean, think about the current standard. You call a business, and if they're busy, you get that menu tree.
Press 1 for sales, press 2 for support. Ugh!
It's rigid, it's frustrating, and frankly, a lot of people just hang up.
The article mentions the ghosting economy. We have zero patience anymore. If I call a plumber and get their voicemail, I don't leave a message. I just call the next plumber on Google.
Exactly. That's a lost sale. Kaplan points out that the real value of this AI evolution is moving from that rigid press one system to natural language processing.
So you don't navigate a maze, you just talk.
You just talk, you say, "Hi, I need to reschedule my appointment for next Tuesday," and the AI actually understands the intent, it checks the calendar, and it moves the appointment for you.
That's the key difference, isn't it? It's not just recording the request, it's executing the task.
Right. It's 204/7 intelligent answering. It completely eliminates the whole out-of-office problem. But the feature that really struck me as a game changer for management is the analytics side.
Okay.
Specifically, real-time transcription and sentiment analysis.
Sentiment analysis, that always feels a little bit sci-fi to me. The robot knows I'm angry.
Well, it's based on really solid data. The AI analyzes your tone, your pitch, volume, keywords, and it can flag a call as frustrated or angry or urgent.
I see.
So now, imagine you manage a support team. Instead of randomly spot-checking 5 recorded calls a week for quality control, you get a dashboard.
And it highlights which calls went poorly.
Exactly. It shows you precisely which 3 calls went sideways yesterday. That's actionable intelligence. You're moving from guessing where your problems are to seeing them flagged in red.
And it turns all that unstructured voice data into something structured.
Yes. A missed call becomes a lead in your CRM with a full summary of what the person wanted. The source mentions the global call center market is over $300 billion. A huge chunk of that is just paying people to say, "Hello, how can I help you?"
So if you can automate that intake.
You changed the entire economics of your business.
You know, there's one specific feature in the blog post that I think solves a massive logistical headache, especially for businesses in diverse areas, like Queens, where CDML is based.
The language barrier. Oh, the multilingual support is massive.
It is. Usually, if you want to serve a community that speaks Spanish or Russian or Mandarin, you have to hire a person who speaks that language.
Which limits you. You can only hire from a certain pool, or you have to pay a premium. It's a huge barrier to entry if you want to expand your market.
But Len Kaplan explains that modern AI platforms, like the ones CDML integrates, they just remove that barrier instantly. The AI can detect the caller's language automatically.
Right.
So I don't have to press 2 for Spanish anymore.
No, you just start speaking. You say, "Hola," and the AI just switches its entire processing model over to Spanish. It can handle dozens of languages. But here's the real nugget of value.
Okay.
It decouples the input language from the output data.
Break that down for us. What does that mean?
Okay, so a customer calls your business and speaks Russian. The AI interacts with them in fluent Russian. It schedules their appointment, answers their questions, whatever they need.
Right.
But then it sends a ticket to your CRM or an email to your office manager in perfect English.
That is, honestly, that's incredible. So you're standardizing the internal operations while completely customizing the external experience.
You got it. You no longer need a multilingual staff to serve a multilingual customer base. You just need a staff that's really good at their jobs. The AI handles the entire translation layer.
It ensures consistency.
Yeah.
You're not relying on, Dave, who took French in high school,
Yeah.
to try and muddle through a call.
Exactly. And it feels like magic, but the article is very grounded about it. It lists specific tools. This isn't theoretical someday tech.
Right.
No, these are market-ready solutions. Kaplan mentions tools like SIP-2AI, Dialzara, GoodCall, Affitect. These are all platforms designed specifically for that SIP integration we talked about earlier.
I have to play the skeptic again, though. We've talked about efficiency. We've talked about cost saving. When you list all these things, scheduling, answering, translating, it starts to sound an awful lot like we're designing the ultimate replacement for the front desk staff.
I knew you were going to go there.
Is the end game here just firing people?
That's the elephant in the room, isn't it? Every time we talk about automation, that shadow of job loss hangs over it. But the source is very, very specific about this. This is not about replacement.
Yeah.
It's about what he calls the hybrid model.
The hybrid model. So how does that actually work?
Well, think about the average day for a receptionist or a customer service rep. How much of their brain power is spent on those repetitive, low-value questions.
What are your hours? Where do I park? Did my payment go through?
Probably 80% of the day, and it's draining. It's a recipe for burnout.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Humans are actually terrible at being robots. We get bored, we get tired, we get snippy after answering the same question for the 50th time.
So the hybrid model.
It uses AI as a filter. It handles that tier 1 support the rote, repetitive, informational stuff. It just clears the clutter off their plate.
Which leaves the humans to do what?
To be human, to handle complex problem solving, relationship building, empathy. If a customer calls and they are genuinely distressed because a shipment is lost and it's critical for their business,
You don't want a robot for that.
you don't. You want a human who can say, I understand, let me fix this for you right now.
So the AI buys the human staff the time, and I guess the mental energy, to actually care about the complicated cases.
Precisely. It upgrades the job description. Instead of being a gatekeeper who just routes calls, your staff becomes client success managers. And all the while, the business owner gets better data because the AI is tracking everything in the background.
That makes a lot of sense. But, and this is a big but, we are talking about recording conversations. We are talking about feeding voice data into the cloud. If you're a business owner, your alarm bells have to be ringing about privacy.
And they absolutely should be. If they aren't, you're doing it wrong. This is the caution section of our deep dive. Len Kaplan pivots pretty hard in the article to governance and security. You cannot treat AI voice data lightly.
It's not just about compliance like GDPR or HIPAA, and those are huge. It's just about trust.
It's about the chain of custody for that information. The article gives a checklist that every business owner needs to run through before they sign up for any of these tools.
What's on it?
The first question is, where are the recordings stored?
Right. Is it on a secure server in a compliant data center, or is it sitting in some startup's, open bucket storage that anyone can hack?
Exactly. Second question, how does the AI access your internal systems? If you give an AI agent permission to read your calendar and write to your CRM, you are effectively giving it the keys to the castle.
The connection needs to be locked down.
Encrypted and strictly permissioned. You don't want the AI accidentally reading confidential client notes to the next person who calls. And then there's transparency. The article really stresses this. Is the caller told they're speaking to an AI?
That feels vital. There's nothing worse than realizing 5 minutes into a call that you've been tricked. It just feels deceptive.
It destroys trust immediately. The system needs to be upfront. Hi, I'm an AI assistant here to get your call routed quickly. People are actually okay with that. They just aren't okay with being fooled.
And what else?
You need to find escalation paths. If the AI gets confused, or if the customer gets angry and says, I want to talk to a person, the system has to know how to gracefully hand that call off to a human right away.
It sounds like the technology is easy to buy, but maybe difficult to implement responsibly.
That is the core argument for why you need a managed service provider like CDML. You can go online and sign up for one of these AI tools today, but configuring it so it doesn't leak data, doesn't, hallucinate answers, and integrates securely with your specific VoIP setup, that takes strategy.
So CDML isn't just selling the tool, they're acting as the architect for the whole system.
Right. They evaluate if AI even aligns with your operational goals. Maybe you don't need full conversational AI. Maybe you just need smarter routing. They help you decide.
And they handle the integration.
They handle the integration with their VoIP systems, they configure the security, and crucially, they monitor it. Because AI is not a set it and forget it kind of thing. It needs governance.
That's a great point. It's the difference between buying a high-performance sports car and actually knowing how to drive it on a track. You need an instructor.
Or a mechanic who keeps it from blowing up. The organizations that are going to win with this technology aren't the ones who just chase the shiny new toy. It's the ones who integrate it carefully into a stable, secure infrastructure.
Stability over flashiness. That's a really solid takeaway. So if we zoom out, what's the big picture here for our listener?
The big picture is a shift in definition. We used to think of the phone as a leash, something that tied you to a desk. Then VoIP made it mobile, which was great. But now, with AI, the phone is becoming a teammate.
A teammate.
Yeah, it's working for you, filtering for you, and translating for you, even when you aren't there. That's a fundamental change in how business communication works.
A teammate that speaks every language, never sleeps, and never asks for a coffee break. I could definitely see the appeal.
It's hard to argue with the efficiency.
For our listeners who are thinking, okay, I need this, but I really don't want to mess it up, That's exactly what CDML is there for.
Absolutely. If you want to evaluate your communication strategy, don't just guess. Visit cdml.com and click Contact to schedule a consultation. They can help you figure out how this fits into your specific world.
And speaking of staying informed, don't forget that CDML publishes new blog posts every Tuesday and Thursday. There's always something new to learn in this space, and they do a great job breaking it down.
So head over to the website, cdml.com, and subscribe to the blog so you don't miss any of those updates.
And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, give us a thumbs up on whatever platform you're using. It really does help other learners find the show.
It makes a huge difference.
So any final thought for us to chew on before we go?
Just this. We often fear that technology makes business less personal. But if you use AI to handle the robotic stuff, all the scheduling, the data entry, you actually free up your people to be more personal. The phone doesn't have to be a source of stress anymore.
It can be your best asset.
If you build the system right.
We're Jemmy and Nye. Thanks for listening. Till next time.